Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on South of Heaven, starring Jason Sudekis and Evangeline Lilly, in a crime drama of sorts. Here she is. There's a lot going on in this movie. I don't know if all the elements will come together, but let's get into it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing, supporting the channel. Joan got her treat because you are still buying my books. Thank you so much. Someone is reading book 2 of the Pineys online. I can see the little meter going up on Kindle Unlimited because we get paid by the page. So thank you for that. Jason Sudekis plays a Southern guy who gets out of prison for armed robbery, and his fiance is dying of cancer, only has a year to live, I guess. That to me would have been enough, right? That would have been enough of a drama, but it gets worse. So he comes home, and then he meets his parole officer who's corrupt, and then, he's got to work, and then the parole officer pushes him into doing some work, doing some crime. Then it gets even worse. He is driving home one night and accidentally runs over a courier who's got $500,000. So now he's got $500,000, a dead courier. He's working for a corrupt guy, and so there's just a lot going on here. I don't know. And then he's missing $500,000, so he kidnaps Evangeline Lilly, and I don't know. That seems like a little too much. Seems like all they would have needed was 2 of these elements at most. Right? And the fact that Evangeline Lilly is dying is probably a sign she's going to die in the movie. Right? Because, well, she was going to die anyway, so she might as well sacrifice herself for him. Screenplay by, wow, that's a tough name, Aharon Kashales and Navot Papashudo and Kai Mark. 3 people to write this movie. Directed by Aharon Kashales, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I mean, a lot of good actors here. Jason Sudeikis, Evangeline Lilly. Mike Coulter was in Boardwalk Empire, if I'm not mistaken. He was Steve Buscemi's brother, who was like the police guy. It could be good. I don't know. It just seems like there's too many elements in it. I don't understand. And there's a lot of guns, a lot of gunplay. So to me, like a guy getting out of prison and being pressured by a corrupt parole officer, that's enough. I mean, that's more than enough for him to get into this kind of trouble. His fiance's dying, and he just happens to run over a courier. I mean, like, it's almost like there's just too much crime in this. And so it comes off as a kind of a dark crime drama, I'm guessing. And Jason Sudeikis is pretty good in the role. His accent's solid. So good for him. But, and Mike Coulter he is on point. Evangeline Lilly's not doing an accent. I don't think she's trying to. Her character probably doesn't have an accent. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they would bother to have her character have cancer and die and be dying. It seems, unless that's a grift to get him out of prison. But that doesn't seem to be that way. So I don't know. Seems like it's all a little much. It's all a little much. It always seems that in these dramas, sometimes the ones that aren't good, that the protagonist is so put upon, right? Like there's almost too much stuff. It's like, don't any other people exist in this world? Can't they blackmail anybody else? Why does it always have to be the guy who doesn't want to be committing the crime? There are plenty of guys who want to commit crime. They line up to commit crime. Oh, there's crime? Yeah, sign me up. No, but they go after a guy who's, doesn't want. He just wants to live his life. To me, this is unrealistic from the criminal standpoint. Yeah, there are some guys they pressure into it, but there's usually more than a reason, right? You don't just pressure a guy. Maybe you want to get revenge on him. Maybe he screwed you in a former deal. Maybe he's lying. He really does want to get back into crime, but it just seems like all these movies are always like, oh, he's an honest guy. He wants to get out of the life. Everybody's drawing him back in. There's a way you got to do that to make it realistic, and I'm feeling like this is feeling a little forced. Again, I'm sort of on the fence. Sort of on the fence with this movie. Seems like there are a lot of elements here that may or may not come together. But first act, he gets out of prison. He reunites. His parole officer's a little antsy, a little weird. End of the first act, he tells him to drop off an envelope or something. Oh, it'll be easy. Second act, I guess he gets involved deeper. Maybe he gets pushed into more crime by the parole officer, but then hits the courier at some point. Like, when does that happen? I guess it happens in the second act. Now he's got bigger problems, and now this guy's involved and his gang's involved, and now he's got to deal with the gang and the parole officer, and I don't know, too much. The third act, everybody is a big shootout and everybody dies. That's my summation of this probably going that way. And it feels, the tone is like kind of down, which I don't like. I would have rather had like a funner, sort of like funner presentation, something a little more uplifting, maybe, because then I would have hope that he could actually overcome this, But it seems like everything's being telegraphed too. That's another thing. It's going to be a dark ending where everybody dies at the end. Anyhow, South of Heaven, if you want to see it. I have no idea when it comes out because, of course, nobody puts the date of the damn release on the trailer. Why do that? Why make it easy? We'll see you in the next video.